It's your boy Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, this thing's been a rather interesting couple of weeks. Uh, in here in South Africa, we only started being affected by, so we've all had to be working from home or not working, which is a big worry for some guys. And I've been hearing quite a few really sad stories about few people who actually lost their jobs. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Thank you for joining in, guys. So, okay, how's that? Yeah, sorry about that, bro. Just a little issues, but hopefully it would have been sorted out by now. Is that better, Christopher? Just let me know. Yeah, sorry, Anthony. Just like I said, just a little hiccup in the network. Because what happened was, unfortunately, there's an undersea cable that's been damaged. So our internet access has really been severe. Yeah, like I said, our the with the network, there's an undersea cable that connects SA to the rest of the world that's been severely damaged. So our internet access is a little bit messed up at the moment. So please forgive me if it cuts out and stuff. But yeah, how's everybody doing in this lockdown period? SA is on lockdown. I'm on lockdown as well. But I've been like hectically busy since last week, and because of my job, which is architecture. I work for an architectural company. We managed to get or we got assigned a job by the government to do some little changes to a hospital to accommodate for the coronavirus patients. So that's really quite an urgent project which we're busy with. So that's why I'm also like swamped with work. But I managed to make a bit of time for the show, of course. So yeah, man. I hope everybody's safe. I hope you all are doing well. And yeah, so wanted to bring you guys the next installment, episode 12. Hey, what's up, Zunaid? Glad you could make it. Um, so yeah, I gave. Let's see. Let's do a little recap. Last week, yeah, we were talking about, or my last episode rather, we spoke a little bit about the coronavirus, and just had such a rough week that week, and we spoke a little bit about Hyperdrive and our girl Stacy Lee, who represented SA at Hyperdrive. Watched that show. It was, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I kind of enjoyed it. Um, and some of the guys, some of the drifters that I follow, I've seen them on there. So like Alexander and Atsushi Taniguchi and let's see who else, and a few new names there, uh, which got me interested. So yeah, I don't know, that show. I kind of liked it. I loved it. In fact. Which was spoke a little bit about our boys out in the UK and Europe, James and Tice with their pace cast. So shout out to those guys. Yeah, so before we went on lockdown and stuff, I made a few. Well, I made I asked a question rather to everybody regarding batteries and what kind of batteries or what brand of batteries do you guys use? Amperage, capacity, shorty packs, long packs, uh, LCG packs. Like, what do you guys use, and what uh, like I just wanted to find out, like, what do you guys use, and what have you found to be the best that you guys are working with, giving you the best performance, and stuff like that. Because the last time I was I only have a Gens Ace 5000 milliamp shorty pack, and I've had it for a little while, and I got that from a friend of mine. So now what I'm finding is that it's just not giving me the power that I need to run my chassis. And uh, the thing with batteries is that if you don't pay careful attention to your chassis when you're running, you start to think that maybe there's something wrong in your setup, which is what was happening with me. Now, the car just wouldn't perform as well as I wanted it to, and I thought maybe there's something lacking in my setup. So then I started making a few changes, and it sort of got better, but then quickly went bad again. And then I didn't realize it until I tried another battery, which a friend had lent to me, and immediately the chassis was like something completely different. There was power there, there was performance, and that's when I realized my battery is on its way out. In fact, it probably is gone. I shouldn't even bother with that battery anymore. I should just get myself a whole new set of batteries. So I've been chatting with a few people, and so the batteries, in terms of capacity, they range from 3500 to about a 6000 milliamp battery. That's the range that most of the guys I came across. That's a range that they have mentioned that they use. And in terms of discharge, all of them high discharge from like 90 to 120 C. Now, I find that very interesting because surely that high discharge is long, but then I assume that you guys have a few of the batteries, and I think that's where I'm lacking, is that I don't have like two, three batteries. I just have one which I've run, and I really should pay more attention to that. I really need to get myself more of the batteries, and then obviously, we got to talk about the regular. Man, this thing is annoying me. Our network is just absolutely terrible. Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah. So, like I was saying, we obviously got to talk about safety and charging, guys. Don't take a chance. Always use a lipo bag, but you know that. And then also your charging. Um, Always make sure you balance charge. Don't leave your batteries to overcharge. The regular things. Um, I came across a few tips which James had mentioned on. I can't remember if it was on my post or somewhere else, but he picked up a few tips from some guys in, I think, from Japan, or was it that he picked up these tips from the manufacturers themselves? And for the life of me, I just can't remember what it is that he said. It was and it was actually a really good tips, and it made a lot of sense in terms of preserving the life of the battery and actually getting the maximum performance out of your battery for the longest period of time. I For the life of me, I just can't remember what he mentioned, and to be honest, I really should have written it down. But I'll go back, and then perhaps in the next episode, I'll mention that, or perhaps a nice thing to do would be to actually ask James and Tice to speak about that in the Pacecast. So maybe that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that. Um, yeah, guys. So in this lockdown and shutdown times of ours, what are you guys busy with? Um, so I've seen no, around a number of my friends and a number of people from around the world actually um, going back to the older chassis and the older cars and sort of and revisiting them and rebuilding them and reviving them, be it a couple of CS chassis, be it a rear wheel drive chassis. But it's really nice to see that that people are going back um, a little bit and bringing back those cars for everybody. I mean, for themselves really. It's just it's a shame that it had to take something like this for us to go back. Um, but be that as it may, at least we are going back and revisiting those old chassis and jazzing them up again. Well, for myself, I have a few projects lined up, which I'm hoping to start working on very soon. It's just that work is a little bit hectic at the moment, even though I'm at home. I'm still busy working. But I'm sure I'll be able to make some time for these projects. So one of my projects is actually my D-like Evol, which is a CS chassis. I'm sure lots of guys know about this chassis as well. It is very similar, if not, it's probably the same as the E4D Pro chassis. It's like the same parts. I think same layout. It's like almost exact. So I really don't know the history behind that, but the Evol was one of those chassis which I was very very much after. Same like the D like RER. That's one chassis I've wanted forever, and through the graciousness and generosity of my friend Rob Nick and my friend Asif, I was able to get my hands on one, and it's one of my most treasured possessions. So that one's was actually meant to be running already because I had some parts coming in, and unfortunately, I can't pick them up because our whole country is locked down. Okay, let's see. Zunaid, I'm failing miserably with fitting my new body on the YD2. When wheels turn, they catch on the arch, like the wheels are too far back. You know what, Zunaid? I will catch up with you later about that, and I think I may have a solution for you about that. I did have a similar problem with another body. I think it was my old GT86, but I managed to work something out there. I'll tell you what I did there. So yeah, like I was saying, the D-like Evol CS chassis, brilliant chassis out of the box as a CS chassis. But I think for me running that chassis, I kind of really let myself down, and simply because well, when I look back at that chassis and how I ran it, I really ran it with about setup and maintenance and stuff like that, and I really didn't do that chassis justice in terms of CS. It really was a brilliant chassis. It was a mid motor. It's a mid motor mount layout. Um, Brilliant belt driven, brilliant chassis. But because I wanted to increase the performance, I went and got myself some of the upgrades: upper arms, lower arms, um, the knuckles. And then when I started putting it together, I realized that, hold on, this whole thing is actually for a rear wheel drive. Those parts I bought was actually to convert the Evolve from CS to rear wheel drive. So and thanks to Yoshizawa-san, who actually hooked me up with the step by step instructions on how he converted the Evolve to rear wheel drive. So that's my next project there is to convert the Evolve to rear wheel drive, and then that'll just be like something fun to mess around with. Then there's also the Street Jam R31, which I have, which another huge shout out to Michelle uh, from Tory Circuit, and at the time it was streetjam.nl. I'm sure you guys remember that one. So yeah, he was actually incredibly instrumental in boosting my career or my journey in RC drifting, and it was all thanks to the this R31 chassis which I have. So uh, it I have everything I need for this chassis. It's gonna run as a CS chassis, but I'm just gonna set it up and get it running, and then we'll see where that takes us. That will also be but that I'm gonna aim more as a loaner car. So for the guys wanting to get into drifting and don't have a car at the moment, they can come out and meet me, and I'll lend them that chassis, and they can have fun with it. It really is a fantastic chassis. Uh, uh, in my opinion, it was a little bit underrated. Um, Again, with that chassis, at the time I was still on a learning curve, and I feel like looking back now, I feel like I haven't done the chassis, justice, and I would really like to go back and set this thing up properly using all the knowledge I've gained over the past year year and a half, even what I'm learning now, just using all that knowledge and applying that to set this chassis up, and I think it'll actually be quite a beast to drift on. So yeah, well, I mean, what else are you guys working on anything, or what are you guys working on? Besides the chassis, I'm working on a Mark IV Tamiya Toyota Supra. So I have the weirdest colors, the strangest color combinations of paint that I have at the moment, and because of the shutdown, we're not able to go to the hobby shops and get paint and whatever it is. So I'm a little bit stuck. So the colors are really out there. So I got a solid red, a bright red, uh, yellow, a plain yellow, a plain blue, uh, a pink and gold iridescent, then a little bit of gold, some black, a little bit of Tamiya bright silver. So I'm trying to figure out, trying to come up with a design where I can mash all of, well, not all the colors, but what I'd like to do is come out with a design that's using the yellow, blue, and perhaps the iridescent, the pink and gold iridescent. Um, I have a couple of ideas, so I'm just trying to figure them out, and trying to do something, trying to come up with a design where I can use those colors. So I'm thinking like the yellow and the blue could be the more dominating colors on the chassis, and the iridescent could be a sort of how can I put it, like highlight or accentuate certain parts, or maybe the design. If I keep the design simple, maybe I can use the iridescent to sort of highlight the design. There's an idea. We could try that. And then I have a whole lot of goodies just waiting to go on the chassis. So I've got SRC over fenders. I've got the SRC, this massive exhaust that I think looks absolutely brilliant. I think it'll work amazing on the chassis, on the body. Um, then I've got some SRC canards. I have the SRC sliding window kit. I have the SRC vents. I'm not sure whether to do the vents on the side window or maybe to do the roof. I mean, sorry, not the roof, the bonnet vent. Still deciding that. Okay, so my good friend David, and my Kamwadi brother, let's see, he says, besides the Razor performance upgrades for Usukani PDS and OD-GAM, I'm planning for completely new chassis. Ah, how interesting. And what new chassis might that be, bro? Something that you are putting together, like our boss man Daniel Christoph, or perhaps something else. It'll be interesting to see what you coming up with. So, to the guys that just joined in, welcome to the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Thank you again for all the support and for listening in during this rough and tough times. I really appreciate it, guys. So yeah, uh, so we've been talking about new projects, old projects, and what have we been busy with, and I've been mentioning what I've been busy with. Um, so yeah, but that Supra body. So I have it all cut and I have the accessories installed already. Besides the sliding window and the vents, I'm still a little bit undecided about the vents. So it might be something that I may add in later. So we'll see about that. But a little while back, this actually just reminded me. I shared a post a little while back from I think it was Atsisho Ito-san. Sorry, yeah, Ito-san from Weld Overdose. So he shared a post of an older car that he's done. I think it was S14 or something. It was a blue overdose car, one of the drift cars, and this thing was amazing. The bonnet opened the other way, the front windscreen sort of opened out, which was I thought fantastic, and I thought that's a really good build. Hey Chester, what's happening, bro? The RC drift builder. Hardly, man. You're the one that's the builder. I'm just I'm just around. That's all. Um, yeah, man. So I'll dig up that post and I'll repost it for whoever watches or listens, and then you guys can check it out. I think that's a really good idea. I thought about perhaps doing that as part of this new build, but uh, I don't have engine bay to mount. So having a hood that opens kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, I can have that windscreen opening out, but again, defeats the purpose because I don't have an interior, and I really lack the skills to do a complete interior. So maybe that will be like for a later project. Uh, let's see what else. Yeah, so in terms of the livery, I'm still undecided. I picked up a few ideas today, which I'd like to just try out and see. Have a closer look and see how they fit in with the Supra, because not every livery suits a body. Yeah, yeah, even with colors, not every color will suit a body. So, got to really, really think about it. Okay, so David says our own chassis with all our own ideas and knowledge, try new ideas and theories that definitely did changes to the other chassis. Uh, we've done parts before. That's amazing, man. That's absolutely amazing. I wish you guys all the best. And please, if I could ask you a favor, just keep me in the loop, man. I'm genuinely interested to see what you guys are up to and what you guys have planned. Obviously, I know that it's going to be something that you don't really wanna share just yet. But please, if you don't mind, just keeping me in the loop. I promise I'll keep my lips sealed. I'm genuinely interested to know how that works out, and it'll be very cool to see what you guys come up with. Yeah, that's very exciting. Nicely done, nicely done. Wow. What else do I say after that? Um, yeah. So I'll post up a few pics of my Supra so far, and then I'll try and post up a few pictures of the those ideas I had, and then and then you guys can comment and everything. David, it's funny you mentioned that you guys are doing your own chassis because actually my next topic was like about research into new projects, and well, you already, I see you're already ahead there. So, guys, just so you all know, there's something new that's gonna come out of Europe. Something very interesting. It may take a bit of time, but I'm sure it's going to be well worth it by the time the R&D and testing has been done. So that's going to be incredibly, incredibly exciting. Oh yeah, for sure, man. I will check in time to time. I'll check in with you. No worries. Uh, so another topic I wanted to talk about is something that I've seen come up recently. Well, just before the major lockdown, um, a lot of guys are asking about drift tires and what kind of drift tires do I use? What do you drift on? And which tires work and which tires don't work? And and I thought that I'll just speak a little bit about it. So uh, when you're drifting, it's important to choose the right tire for the surface. You want something that runs just right. You don't want a tire that has too much of grip and yet something that has too less grip. Now, obviously, this means that you're gonna have a little bit of trial and error with chassis. The easiest way, however, is to simply ask the guys at your local track what tires they are using. Go with that tire, and then adjust your setup from there. Um, so the reason for that is these guys have done a lot of research and running with different and testing with different sorts of brands of tires to get something that works well with the local track. So here in SA, most of the country, we run Yokomo tires, either the DRA or the DRC. Um, for myself, I run two brands. One is the Yokomo, and I run DRC and DRA, and the other is a DS Racing, obviously. So I run a few of the different DS Racing types. Just I like to swap it around sometimes, switch it up, just to get a different feel. Uh, so far, however, I haven't had any issues with DS Racing. They've all the sets that I've been using. They've all fitted perfectly on my wheels. They've been consistent throughout the day. Um, I haven't had any issues with the DS Racing tires. I know quite a few people I've come across have mentioned that the tires are uh, not quite not quite up to scratch, and sometimes some of the sets, the the tire quality is not 100%, and uh, they've mentioned a number of issues with the DS Racing tires. Now, whilst you know, I understand that yes, it's definitely plausible that these issues come up, but for me, I just haven't had that problem. I've never had that issue. So I really don't know what to tell these guys, because I've only ever had good experiences with their tires, with their wheels. So I don't know quite how to react when people say that. On the other hand, with Yokomo tires, again, I've also never had any issues with the Yokomo tires, none whatsoever. The reason why I run the Yokomo tires more is because at nationals, that's usually our control tire. So I run those tires so that I can get a feel of what I'm what we're going to be using at nationals, and then also how to adjust my whole tune in line with the tires. And that's just how I prepare myself for the competitions. Our local comps, yeah, we don't have a control tire for this year, but from next year, we will be implementing a control tire so that we get a little bit more even competition. Although at this current time, the competition between ourselves is quite even. We don't like one person like completely running away from the rest of the pack because he's running a different tire. So I'm happy to report that we all fairly run at a similar speed. Um, yeah. So in terms of tires, that's basically what we use, and we mostly use. In fact, I won't even say mostly use. I think almost all of our tracks are either painted or polished concrete. I think actually the drift trap is painted tar, if I'm not mistaken. It's ultra smooth tar, and that's also a brilliant track. I enjoyed myself at that track. Have some good memories there with all my buddies. Uh, it's another fantastic place to visit if you guys ever come down to South Africa. That's another fantastic track you guys should definitely visit. Um, when guys say they drift outside in the car parks and stuff like that, I tell them two things: go for the hardest tire you can find, or get the D-like asphalt tires. I think for asphalt, those D-like tires that they have, I think they are the best that you can get for asphalt. Um, any other tire will just get beat up so badly so quickly. Um, I just think that the D-like tires are the best there. So just keep in mind what you guys are running on. For carpet, let's see. I can't. To be honest, I can't really comment much when it comes to drift tires for carpet, because we don't really have any carpet tracks here. I mean, we got here in Durban. We've just got a little backup emergency space that's has this regular, tightly woven office style carpet. It's like a needlepoint carpet. Um, and I mean, you can run on it, but it's definitely not at the level that Worlds is. And in and either way, we genuinely we can't get the carpet that you guys have overseas there for us to run. And even if we had, or even if we had access to that carpet, we don't have anywhere to put it. So I don't really know what more I can suggest for carpet tires. But I believe that one of the popular tires are silver dots. if I'm not mistaken. The MST silver dots appear to be quite nice. The DS Racing double F Mark II, the F-Zero Mark II, the ones we used at Worlds, I thought those were like amazing. I love those tires. And I still got my sets. I don't think I'll part with them because they obviously have a lot of sentimental value. But yeah, I think between DS Racing and MST for carpet, yeah, I think those will be good. Somebody asked me about the tires, or somehow we just fell into this conversation about tires, and I explained to the guy that here in SA we're using Yokomo DRC and DRA tires, and he was like really surprised. It's like where they are or out in Europe and stuff. The Yokomo tires are like the some people don't even know didn't even know Yoko had these new tires because they're all that side. And well, I don't blame them. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with how well Yokomo has done and is doing in SA. We have a very, very big following and well established Yoko brand here in SA. And you know, it's a very good brand. You really can't say much bad things about a brand that does good like that. It's a great brand. It's a great product. The quality is really good. It's easy to build. It's easy to tune. It's very competitive. So I mean, it checks all the right boxes. Same like the MSC RMX. Um, Although we have quite a few, I won't say quite a few. We've got a few RMX drivers here in SA, but there's not a lot of support here in SA for MST parts, which is why it's not so popular. Um, Overdose, we have a few chassis, including myself. However, uh, we all know Overdose is a little expensive, so that tends to put the guys off here in SA, and understandably so. And I really can't fault them with that. But I think once you put together an Overdose GAM, and you really get into you throw yourself deep into the Overdose, then you really see why this thing is like priced the way it is, and the quality of the parts, and how it everything's so well thought out. And it's definitely not a chassis for a beginner. You really need a good base knowledge when it comes to RC to properly tune the GAM. I don't know whether you guys would agree with me, but yeah, you guys generally need a good base knowledge to properly figure that chassis out. For me, it's a challenge. It's exciting. Overdose is another brand which I love and I've been wanting to get for a long time, and finally I managed to get my hands on it. And as you all know, I'm also one of the agents for Overdose in South Africa. Um, Although recently, due to the bad economy and the heavy downfall of the rand, um, sort of venture into that world has kind of been slowly grinding to a halt, simply because now it's more about just surviving and keeping myself and my family going than trying to get this little side business of mine going. And it's really hard, guys. It's really hard, but I promise I won't quit. I won't quit. I will get back into it, and I will try and bring my South African brothers are the best brands out there. That was actually my intention when I first started uh, the Birok RC shop. The whole intention there was to bring in the brands that we constantly see, uh, online and overseas, and to stop people from dreaming and saying things like, "I wish, I wish we had that here." So I wanted to be that bridge. I wanted to bring in those brands, the Wrap Up Next, the Overdose, uh, Speedway Pal, etc. All those wonderful RC brands that we know already. I wanted to be the bridge to bring that and make that available for the guys here in SA. But if there's anything that I've learned, it's here in SA, it's a very tough market, more because we are facing a tough economic situation. So, I hope that things will change around so that everything gets better for everybody, and that we can begin to enjoy this RC hobby that we absolutely love and so passionate about. Um, hey, what's up, Kim? Sorry, I saw you there, but I didn't greet you. I'm so sorry about that. How you doing, my man? Which reminds me, I actually need to chat with you, but I'll message you a little bit later, and then we can take it from there. So, guys, anything to add? I've been through my whole lot of topics here that I've been wanting to speak about. Um, so to recap a little bit, uh, my Kamwadi bro David is working on a little something in the background there, which I'm sure is going to be really, really awesome once it comes out. And I'm going to be keeping in touch with him just to see how that's going. And, once he's completely done and they're happy with whatever it is they are busy with, I'll speak with him and get his thoughts and share with you guys what little magic he's been brewing up there. So it's going to be really, really cool. And I hope you guys are also staying safe and working. So have you guys seen the new products coming out of Tetsujin? That LB, and I just hope those wheels are going to be released as well, because those wheels are absolutely to die for. Earlier on today, I think it was today, I shared one of the posts about that new chassis. I mean, this thing, it looks exquisite. It's definitely one of those RC shells that you guys. Sorry, boys. Sorry for the break in the stream there. Again, network issues. Yeah, that's one of the things we gotta deal with in this beautiful country of ours. Uh, you know, Even though we're facing such a rough time in this country with our shaky economy, with our even more shaky government, um, you know, I still have so much of hope and so much of faith in South Africa. And it's simply because of the people. What you see in the social media and in the news is not a reflection of the people of South Africa. And this is one thing I will stand by and I will vouch for. The people of South Africa outweigh all of the bad that you guys hear and see about, and I promise you that South Africa is an amazingly beautiful country with beautiful people, and it's just a whole melting pot of different cultures and races and ideologies and cultures and faiths all meshed and intermingling with each other, just to produce this amazing place, which is why we also called the Rainbow Nation. It's simply because of the people and uh, how we are all together. I mean, we literally have people of different races and faiths and cultures staying literally next door to each other. And I'm not sure how many of you guys can boast that or can speak about that. But for myself, growing up, um, I grew up with all sorts of people and people of all sorts of faith. So it really helped with understanding each other, being tolerant of each other. And it's just a shame that these days the social media uh, and actually corrupted uh, and evil people have spread division amongst everybody. But forget all that. SA is a fantastic place. We have an amazing drift community. We have even more amazing drift tracks, and SA should definitely be one of those places you guys visit. So I will be looking forward to having some of you guys out there. Yeah. So I'm really interested to know what you guys are up to. Please send me a message, post on my wall, tag me in your posts. I'm generally interested to see what you guys are busy with, and I want to know what you guys are up to so that I want to share in your excitement. I want to share in your projects. I want to see what you guys are up to. I want to get excited with you for your projects. And I will share with you my projects, and I hope you can be uh, even a little bit excited and join me on my journey there. And perhaps what you guys could do as well is just give me a few tips, maybe share a few tips and tricks. Tell me where I'm going off, where I'm not hitting the mark. Just put me on the right track. I'm always open to criticism and comments, and I'm actually very open minded. Once you get to know me, or once you even chat to me, I'm also quite understanding. So please don't ever be afraid to hit me up. Also, I'm always there, even if it's not RCA related, and you just need somebody to chat with. Just know that I am there for you guys. It doesn't matter what it is. You're feeling down, hit me up. You're feeling happy, hit me up. You want help, hit me up. You want me to talk about something, hit me up. Anything at all you got to do is just message me, and I'll be there for you, 100% backing you up. So I'd like to thank you guys once again for joining me on this journey and this new venture of mine into the world of podcasting. I really appreciate all of the support and you guys joining in all the time and listening in. It's actually thanks to you guys that I keep on doing this podcast. And when was it? Last week, I actually had my friend Rob Nick. My friend Rob Nick. He called me up and just gave me a few words of encouragement and inspiration, and I really needed to hear those words, not knowing that I needed to hear it. So when he spoke and he said what he said, it really stuck with me, and it really lifted my spirits. So thank you so much, Rob. You're a special guy, and I love you lots, bro. And thank you for that call. It really it helped a lot. Um, so part of that conversation, and perhaps I should share it with you guys, is so I wanted to give up the podcast. I felt that perhaps I'm not doing a good enough job. I felt that I'm lacking in my presentation, lacking in my expertise, and uh, lacking in the technical knowledge that I thought uh, this podcast regarding RC drifting. And one of the things he mentioned was that I shouldn't stop. I shouldn't quit. Just keep going. And that there's a lot of people that actually enjoy my podcast. So do it for them. Um, and you, for some, I won't say for some reason, but uh, just hearing him say say that in his way actually just got me thinking and just turned my head around and just made me realize that perhaps he's right and I shouldn't give up. I should just keep on going and keep on moving and just be like Dory and just keep swimming. So yeah, that was my little tumble a few weeks back, a few days back, and I guess that's part of the reason why I didn't do a show last week. But mo- that's just a small part, mostly because I was just really overwhelmed with work, and uh, it was just a tough week that week, and just I really wasn't into it. I really wasn't feeling the show, and I don't think it's fair to do a show when you're not feeling it, because the quality of your show will go down, of course. And I want to try and give you guys the best show I can. So moving forward, I'm gonna try and think of different ways to make the show a lot better for you guys. Um, Again, in order for me to give you guys a better show, I'd really need your feedback. Really, really need your feedback. So please comment, send me a message, whatever it is, be direct, be indirect, whatever it is. But please, just give me your feedback. Like, what is it that you liked about the show? What didn't you like about the show? Um, what what can I do to make it a better experience for you guys? Thank you so much, David. Really appreciate it, bro. And I hope that I'm giving you guys a good show. For me, I think uh, perhaps that's why I'm a little bit tough on myself, because I want to give you guys a great show. And at the same time, I want to try and get more listeners in. Um, and I know that's hard. So perhaps the timing, maybe I need to change my timing. Uh, Again, your feedback is really going to help me produce a better show. So just let me know what I can do to make the show better. I'd really, really appreciate that. So in the days coming up for the rest of the week, right up to next week for my next show, I'm going to be keeping my eye out on all of you guys. I want to see what you guys are up to. I want to see how creative everyone's getting, and uh, like what's really affecting the RC drifting community aside from events and drift. The the obvious things. I want to see or try and look for where I can put myself perhaps to help people or just entertain or perhaps expose your side of RC to the rest of the world. If that's something which you guys would like, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to speak on it, get your perspective on things in the RC world, and let's share it with the rest of the world. Um, a few things still I still see coming up in the RC game is people uh, the guys, the new guys just coming into the hobby, and they want to use the older tech chassis and make that work, versus just getting rid of what they have, getting something new that's gonna time. So again, it just comes down to how we approach all of these new guys and sort of rope them in to the hobby. You don't want to be overly uh, argumentative, or you don't want to be too aggressive in your approach, and you want to, you want to, and I've said this in earlier shows, you want to get these guys just drifting. Let's forget about the competitions. Let's forget about getting these guys in a train straight off the bat. Forget about all that. They're never going to do it straight away or as quick as you expect them and want them to. You must remember, most of us that are making these suggestions to these new guys have been drifting for years or have a lot of experience with drifting. And then to tell these guys to be aggressive in our approach with these guys is the wrong way to grow the hobby and get people to stay in the hobby. I know for a fact many guys have left the hobby due to this kind of egotistical approach, and we need to get rid of that. How else do you expect a hobby to grow if you don't welcome them into the hobby? Yes, it may be a sprint to drift. Yes, it may be a, an HSP flying fish. But what some of the guys are not seeing is that the new guy has taken that step towards getting into the hobby, towards wanting to drift. And that means growing the hobby. And that means one more new guy into the brotherhood. Do you really want to get rid of one more new guy? You need to think about that. Get the guy to drift. Welcome him. Tell him, look, but don't be overly aggressive, but give it to him straight. Tell him, look, what you have is an entry level chassis. It's limiting. You're gonna be struggling a little bit. Here's what you can do though: lock a rear diff, adjust turnbuckles, ABC, whatever it is. Get tell him, get a good brushless system, because we all know if you get a good brushless system, you can put it from chassis to chassis to chassis. So that's one thing he can save on. So tell him things like that. You know what? For the moment, get yourself a strong brushless setup. Get yourself a good radio. Those two things are gonna last you a lifetime. You start off with this, but if you wanna get better, you're gonna need something better. For the moment though, use this, get yourself going into the drift sort of mindset, and tell him, okay, hit the track. And I promise you, when he sees the rest of you guys drifting the way you do, it's going to encourage him to get better and get better equipment. And then that guy is going to be drifting with you in a train, in a tandem, the way you want him to. And that is where we want the new guys. Okay, so Bob says, hi Bob, the other Bob. Well, what I like about the show is that it's genuine, does not need razzmatazz. Thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate it. Um, the I don't know what else to say, but really, thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. So Bob is another Bob, David, Stefan, Rob. Uh, those are guys that I always see come up when I'm doing the podcast. I know there's a lot of other guys as well. Stuart from SA as well. There's a lot of other guys that also listening to the show regularly, and I really appreciate that support and seeing my friends out there. It really means a lot. So thank you guys. Uh, yeah, like I was saying, the new guys, we need to be a little bit more encouraging rather than discouraging. So just keep that in mind. We know that they can be a little bit, um, sometimes a little bit stubborn, sometimes a little bit know it all. But you know, we've for those that have for those of us that have been in the game for a while, we know these kind of people come and go. But if we want them to stay, it's going to be all about how we treat them. So let's try and treat them with a little bit soft gloves at first, and be a little bit more understanding towards them, and then take it from there, and let's see. So yeah, guys, like I was saying a little earlier, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out on everybody, seeing what you guys are up to this week, so I can talk about what you guys are up to in my next show. Um, so I'm also gonna be bringing you guys a little bit of updates of what I've been up to. Um, with my Evil and my Street Jam and my Hybrid and my Gum. Well, the Gum, I really can't do much at the moment. That's because that's going to be my main chassis for 2020, or was supposed to be my main chassis for 2020. Um, I'd really like to set that up and tune that up properly, like uh, do testing on the track. So do a quick tune at home, put it on the track, adjust from there. And at the moment, with everything that's going on, I'm not able to do that. So I'm just going to be working on my new body, which is a Toyota Supra Mark IV from Tamiya, and it's going to be packed with the SRC goodies. And I'm working on a livery or paint scheme for that. It's gonna be a bit strange, but hopefully I can pull it off and do it properly. So, but I'll keep you guys in the loop about that. Uh, so yeah, guys, for listening in. It's been awesome. Really appreciate all of the support, and I will catch you guys next week, Monday, same time, same place. I don't know about same time, but you know what? You guys let me know. As of us earlier, please, my show, the quality and the content of the show really depends on all you guys. Not so much the content, but really the quality of the show. I want to give you guys a better show each time. I want to give you guys something that excites you, that ignites your thinking, that sort of expands your mind, and uh, you know uh, gets you guys get that passion going again. uh, in order to do that, really need your feedback about the show. So please comment, send me a message, write on my wall, whatever it is. But please, I really need your feedback about the show. What you like, what you don't like, what would you like to see change, what would you like to see me talk about more, uh, and those sorts of things. So once again, thank you guys so much for listening in. This is your boy Bob Rock on the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Catch you guys next time, guys. Peace.